Good time?
We are good, sir.
All right. Are we recorded?
We are
Very
recording.
good. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the City of Parker's council meeting. We've been a couple weeks since we had our last one, so we've got a few things on the agenda we need to take care of tonight. If you would, Pastor Davis will not be here tonight. He had another appointment. So, Mr. Raga, I understand you're going to fill in for us and do the invocation. Would everybody come to, please stand.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, today we've come together to seek your direction as a team. We thank you for how faithful you have carried us in the past, through both the ups that included victories and growth, and through the downs that included challenges and mistakes. Please grant us direction as we face difficult decisions that need to be made. If we settle on a decision, I ask that you grant us peace, if it is what you will for us. We seek your counsel and wisdom and ask that you would show us the way. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. So let it be. Mr. Chappell.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Chappell. Okay, everybody please be seated. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Miss Barrett.
Yes.
Miss Barrow.
Here.
Mr. Chappell.
Here.
Mr. Haney.
Here.
Mayor Kelly.
Yes, here. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, first item before we get started is the approval of the minutes for March the 19th. You should have those in your package.
Yeah, I read through twice, so I
Did you?
didn't see nothing wrong with them. So I make a motion, we accept them.
We have a motion.
I'll second.
We have a second. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Miss Barrett.
Yes.
Miss Barrow.
Yes.
Mr. Chappell.
Yes.
Mr. Haney.
Yes.
Mayor Kelly.
Yes. Before we move on to one change that we have in the agenda for tonight, is there anybody in the audience that has something that they would like to come to the podium, state your name and address, and discuss whatever it is that's not on the agenda? Okay, thank you, everybody. First item on the regular agenda for tonight is a bid award for the Melinda property. And after the award and after the conversation we're going to have, I have one minor change that I'd like to make. Ms. Moore, if you don't mind.
Good afternoon. We posted out bids for the Melinda property on February 8th. We issued 2 addendums for that project, and we had 6 potential bidders for that project. The lowest of the bidders was BCL Civil Contractors in the amount of $1,178,023. That's in the ballpark of where we estimated it would be originally. And we recommend award to BCL in that amount, plus the additive alternate to include a fountain for the center of the pond to help aerate the stormwater. And that would bring the amount to $1,194,073. And it should be noted that $887,000 of that project is being covered by grant funds.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate you.
Sure.
Mr. Sommerlin, would you come to the podium, please, and tell the council the change that we'd like to make? We did talk about this, ladies and gentlemen, but we never firmed it all up. My personal feeling is if we're going to do this and we're going to spend the money, we need to go ahead and do it in its imagined entirety and do the walking track and the thing that keeps the mosquitoes down and the lighting and the walking track. So, Mr. Somlin, you have the floor.
So once y'all approve this contract, we had the discussion about the walkway lights. So we just need to make a decision on if we're going to light it or if we're not going to light it. If we are going to light it, then I need y'all to make a motion to go into a contract with FPL to put the walkway lights in.
The 1.178 and change included the lighting, right?
No.
It did not. It's on top of that.
FPL will be a monthly power bill.
Okay, and the 1.178 is what was the lowest bid for BCL, and how much is FPL going to be?
I don't have that document with me, but like I said,
Ballpark it.
It was a monthly payment of
Approximately 1,600, you said, but I thought that was for both?
both. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so what you're saying is, it'll be about $1,600 a month for the sports complex and the retention pond walkway, approximately. Okay, so what we gotta vote on tonight, council, is first the bid to accept it, and then vote to let FPL take care of the lighting. Now, we won't pay that full 1,600 day one, will we, because the park's not done?
No.
So we'll pay the rated amount for the,
We won't pay anything until the lighting's installed.
until the light is installed. This will change it will change what it looks like over there. It'll make it look totally different. So the first thing we need to vote on is the awarding and accepting the contract. Thank you, Mr. Summerlin.
I make a motion that we accept BCL for contractor.
Okay,
Second.
we got a first and a second. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Miss Barrett?
Yes.
Miss Sparrow?
Yes.
Mr. Chapel?
Yes.
Mr. Haney?
Yes.
Mayor Kelly?
Yes, very much so. Thank you, council. The thing I'd like to just go over with everybody so that the council and the citizens understand that it would be, we envision this with, if you can imagine, like a large device that sprays water in the air, for want of a better word. It makes the mosquito larvae die. I don't know what they call it. And we want to make sure that that goes in the park along with the lighting around the outside. And Mr. Sumlin, I appreciate what you did, Tony, because he made a deal, he set a deal with FPL so that we won't have to do any maintenance on these lights. We're just gonna pay the monthly fee for using the power. They're gonna come and they're gonna install everything. We'll turn a key and that will be lit and this will be lit. And I'm told they're on poles, right? 20-foot poles. And they're LED and the lighting will be so that the track, you can walk the track at nighttime. And you'll be able to do the same in the sports complex. So what I'd like for you guys to do is, I don't know how to bid this or whatever, but I would like FPL to put the lighting in the sports complex and in the retention pond. We call it the Melinda property for now. I guess we'll name it later, but I would like for that to happen so that it can be lit at nighttime. So, any conversation from the council? Anything you'd like to know about it? Because Tony's here now.
Well, I got a question about the sprinkler system or whatever. Is that also gonna be lit, kinda?
The fountain.
He wants to know if the fountain's lit.
Yeah, the fountain hasn't been discussed to be lit.
Okay.
Oh.
It has or has not?
Has not.
Okay, do we want to light the fountain?
Well, I think it would make it presentable. I mean,
Okay.
make it look pretty.
We can have discussion about it with the contractor, and then I can come back and let you know what that might cost.
Cause you know, they do have some multicolored things, blue and then red and
Yeah.
stuff like
Yeah, so
that.
they have that change color.
It kinda
Yeah.
makes the whole thing.
That sounds good.
Looks nice.
Sounds real good. Will it still eradicate the mosquitoes?
Or will it draw me?
Or will it bring cicada beetles to Parker? I don't know.
The lighting, is it necessary to do it before the rest of the work is done, or, I mean, is it something we could put off until a later time?
The colored light,
The lighting in general,
it won't get done till the project's finished.
I see.
In other words, it's gonna be, if you imagine a pond, big pond, with a walk track around the top. And they wouldn't allow us to put chain link, and it's a slightly tapered pond. The reason for that is, if you fell in, you could crawl yourself out. It's not vertical sided like a dam. And that's kind of where we're at with the thing, really. It will be piped out of that. It won't just pour over the end. There'll be a pipe, and depth of the water will come to a certain point and go over that pipe. Mr. Summerlin?
Mr. Haney, I think what your question is, the problem is we're trying to get the lighting in the same time the contractor is, because if they finish the job, then FPL's got to ruin the sod and everything to get it in.
That's what I was getting at.
So, and right now, with working with the contractor and that, the city might have to help put the conduit in, because FPL is so far behind that we might have to put the conduit in the dirt under the sod before FPL even gets here.
That's news to me, yeah. Okay, then the answer is, yeah, it'd have to be done before.
And wasn't there some talk about where the parking might be? I don't remember looking at the map you got over there.
The
but
parking-
Park is on Boat Race, or it will be on 11th Street, or?
Parking's on boat race.
On boat race, yeah.
Good, awesome.
At the front. You know, when we normally put the pump when it was overflowed before?
Yes.
Won't do that anymore. And then, you know, been a long time getting till today.
Maybe you fight that back a long time ago.
Yeah, been a long time getting here. So we won't have to use the fire engine to pump water anymore. So if we, is it something we can agree on and vote on?
We need a motion just to
We
go
have to have a
ahead and
motion and a second to
with
move it forward with FPL.
go with the lighting with the,
Yeah.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, and this is for the lighting and for the, what's the thing called?
The
Bug sprayer.
Fountain.
Bug
fountain.
bug cicada tree, whatever it is. Okay, so we got a first and a second?
Second.
Okay, Madam Clerk?
Miss Barrett.
Yes.
Miss Barrow.
Yes.
Mr. Chapel.
Yes.
Mr. Haney.
Yes.
Mayor Kelly.
Very much so, and thank you, council. This is gonna change the appearance of our little town in that section right there.
Well, it'll look better than just a hole out there.
Well, it's not even a hole right now, it's just
Not yet.
it's
Hole of water.
just a thing, you know? Okay. All right, in your package, you'll have, for your review, and I'm sure you have, the emergency response plan. The ERP is a requirement of everybody in most places in the United States. In Bay County, everybody writes an ERP. It is when you review that, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know that the emergency response plan is an evolution. It's not verbatim. It could be single command, unified command. It just depends on the circumstance that the ERP was activated, mostly in our case because of bad weather, hurricanes, tornadoes, maybe a major fire. But we would, the ERP it is not set in stone. It can change throughout an evolution as things grow and improve or subside, the ERP would change. But we are required to submit it, and I have reviewed it personally, and it is as good as you can do for an evolving evolution. So we have to accept it.
I'll make a motion that we accept it. I'll second.
Got a first and a second? Any conversation before we vote? Okay, take the clerk, Madam Clerk.
Miss Barrett.
Yes.
Miss Barrow.
Yes.
Mr. Chapel.
Yes.
Mr. Haney.
Yes.
Mayor Kelly.
Yes, thank you, council. Item 3 is also it should be in your packages, the 4 individuals that put down their names to be considered for the position of planning commissioners. This is item 3, and we need to pick.
I have a question first before we go any farther with that.
Okay.
Do we have, how much time is left on both of those seats? So that whoever we pick will know that we still have to vote
I don't
again?
know. I didn't put that to mind.
I don't know off the top of it. Yes.
Do you know?
Oh, I thought somebody raised their hand. It was somebody in the corner.
Well, one of them was Mr. Robichaud.
Yeah.
It was CJ.
I was hoping Mr. Riga doesn't know either. I don't.
I don't know that answer, ma'am.
Well, it can't be more than 2 years, right? We do it
No.
every 2 years?
Right.
Every 2 years?
I believe so.
Mayor, I can
So-
offer a little information.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
The council, when we rewrote the LDRs, there's 2 of them that come up, it's 2 years is the term.
Yeah.
But the council also decided that there would be no term limits.
Okay.
But every 2 years.
It comes up for a renewal.
Yeah, every year, you come up in the July timeframe, so it'll be just a few months. I think one of those seats would be July, and then the next seat would be a year after July.
Okay,
I just
so there's,
wanted them to know
that
what
they,
we'd be doing.
right,
If whoever gets it, will know
Right.
how long they got on before we have to come back before the council and.
right.
I think the seat that Mr. Haney occupied would be a year from July, and then Mr. Robichaud would be this July.
Okay, all right. We can verify that for you, Ms. Barrett, tomorrow for sure, because that's something I didn't check. And then,
Yeah, I'll find out. I'll get
Well,
answers.
I'd like to jump in there and make a motion that we, put, Mr. Kyle Merritt in one of the seats.
Which one?
Kyle Merritt, did you say?
Well, we could go with the one that's next year.
Okay. So you're gonna put Kyle Merritt in for renewal next July,
If he gets it.
okay. All right, we have a motion.
I'll second.
We have a second. Madam Clerk?
Miss Barrett.
Yes.
Miss Barrow.
Yes.
Mr. Chapel.
Yes.
Mr. Haney.
Yes.
Mayor Kelly.
Yes, thank you, council. So there is one remaining seat of the 3 remaining people that have asked to be considered for this.
I'd like to make a motion that Richard Hall, Rick Hall,
Okay, Rick Hall,
I'll second, cause it would be a nice thing to have a liaison from Tyndall.
Right, right.
That's a very.
right? You should have in your packages a letter that I got from his commander. Talks about him a little bit.
Right,
And did you read that?
yes.
Okay.
And
Any
that,
comments?
that term would expire this July.
This term goes through this July. If he runs again, that's good. If not, somebody else will get the position, all right? So, this is for Rich Hall. We have do we have a first and a second?
We do.
We have a first and a second. Madam, would you please call the roll?
Miss Barrett,
Yes.
Miss Barrow,
Yes.
Mr. Chapel,
Yes.
Mr. Haney,
Yes.
Mayor Kelly.
Yes, thank you, council.
When do they need to be sworn in?
Good night tonight, Mr. Will you do this tonight?
I'm not sure that Mr. Hall was able
Well-
to make it, but Mr.
We can go down
maybe
there
we
with Sloan's office and knock him out.
The LDRs identify that we do that in the.
Yeah, in the planning
Okay.
commission meeting normally.
Okay.
At the beginning of the next planning commission.
So you got a
meeting.
planning commission meeting coming up, right?
Next month.
Tuesday, it'll be May.
Second Tuesday of May. Is that good for you, Mr.?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, very good.
Can you
And
make that, Mr. Mayor?
Are
So-
any of those members here?
Kyle is right there, behind Miss O'Brien.
okay, item 4 is a proposal from Mr. Buchholz. Mr. Buchholz owns Pier 98, and he has a wonderful proposal to put in a bait and tackle. I'm going to call it a shop because it's not really a shop because there's nobody in there, but it looks like a shop. And is he here tonight, Mr. Buchholz?
He is.
Okay, there, I see you now. And this is a big investment for him. Bait, drinks, and food. We weren't sure when he first approached me if we could in fact do this. We sent a letter to the state of Florida, and they sent back a letter saying, absolutely, you guys could do that. Do we have that, Mr. Summerlin, in your office? Does your Taylor have that letter?
Yes, they came back and said that we are allowed to have vending machines at the property.
Yep. And I wanted to get a copy of that to Mr. Sloan. Now,
Vending machines or vendors?
We asked them that if we were allowed to have vending machines down at the park, and that did they have to be city-owned or could they be private-owned? And they said it didn't matter.
right.
But what about an actual business?
These are vending machines.
Okay.
So what he's proposing, and if you guys want one, when this is over, you can come up and look at the proposal. There's a few legal things that we'll have to take care of if we agree to do this. You've got his proposals before you that would outline what the machines would look like and how they would be installed. He's going to put some CCTV in there, but essentially what it boils down to is a place will have a bathroom, and then a building that he would have drinks and snacks, but most important, frozen bait, so that people who fish can go to the storage unit and buy bait and go out on the pier and fish. That's the meat of what he's proposing. And but before we went to the part where we go on from him to Mr. Sloan to get the legalities sorted out, we wanted to make sure that the council wanted to do this first.
Well, I think it's a great idea.
I'm of the same opinion.
Is this the building that you're talking about?
That building is actually a 40-foot building. The one that we would propose is only 20 foot, but it would be that layout. It would have a little porch in the front so people would get in there. We have it custom built so it's got a glass front so that people can see inside the building. The machines have to be inside in air-conditioned space because of the salt air. It would destroy them in probably 2 years if it wasn't. And if you got frozen products and drinks, it needs to be in a climate-controlled area rather than out in what they have. So. And if I may say, what prompted this wasn't a monetary move on our part. It was a public service. I think it's something that the Pier really needs. It also is PR for our company, and it does have. No one here knows what the potential payback is or isn't because there's no history. And our interest is we just don't want to lose money, but we just want to protect our interests at the pier for the bait sales, and hopefully it would be at some point in time a profit center for both the city and for us.
Well, I'm out there just about every day talking to people and I told him that with possibility got a bait and tackle store coming, and most everybody out there said, you know, that would really be a good idea. I didn't tell them about the drinks and stuff. I just said the bait and tackle, and most all of them agreed that it's something we need out there. So the only question I got, if it's like this, I don't see a chair there for me to sit in and watch.
I think we can probably work that out. The colors, the company said that they would match the colors. We could even provide the paint so it matches the restrooms that are out there. The outside texture already pretty much matches the wood grain of that, and the roof panels will be picked in color to match, so it'll look
I'm
very
assuming you're
presentable.
gonna tie it down and all that stuff.
The
but
company will have
Yeah.
to do that, yes.
Try to make
Where
it.
is it gonna be located at the park?
If you could imagine in your mind as you drive down to the pier, there is, well, you probably wouldn't realize it, but there's a sign that says Welcome City Parker Pier.
Yeah.
That actually is camouflage over the bus box, the power supply. So if you imagine in your mind, to the left of that, outside of the retention pond, on the flat grass right there, and I don't know how many feet forward and back, but right in that general vicinity right there.
It'll serve both the pier and the people,
Boats and everybody, really.
yeah, the people, they're picnicking out there in the park, and
I think it's great.
Now, is there any possibility you can also put a heavier roll-up box or container for wrappers and trash and all that? Because I've been walking that park and picking up a lot of trash now. So and I think some of it's windblown because those plastic containers get blown over. And we could use something stronger, heavy duty if we put this in.
We'll take that under consideration. That would be Mr. Summerlin thing that he does every day, because we have Parks and Recreation down there taking care of the park. But is the load too great for what we have right now?
The problem we're having right now is we didn't budget anything for trash receptacles on the pier
Right.
enough. I would say we put trash cans down there, but the guys are having a really hard time with the wind moving around, blowing around.
Okay.
The bags aren't staying in them. They're having a
Okay.
But the problem is to get the ones like the other piers have. They're like a concrete structure that don't move and don't
Right.
go around. They're about $500 to $600 a piece.
Okay.
So it's something we're going to budget in October to try to see if.
I
that's
got you.
something we wanna do.
I got you. I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it's sad because we, for some reason, are a magnet for vandalism, and Mr. Buchholz will be in it if he puts this in here, if we vote to put it in there. But people have decided that our brand new $300,000 bathrooms are a great place to live and bathe and do their laundry. And there are some steps we're taking to resolve that, but unfortunately, it's become a common problem, and probably as it gets warmer, it might become a bigger problem. I went and looked at the bathrooms at Panama City. The one thing that they did that we did not think about, and we might can change, they have an outdoor shower to where you can rinse yourself down. And I'm not sure if that would be a magnet to the homeless or if it would be a benefit to people getting off the boat. I don't know. I will tell you that we had a huge problem with the homeless traversing the bank right there along Oak Shore Drive and going into some of the vacant properties. And now they're getting into the bathrooms. And I don't know, the patrols go down there, and it's going to have CCTV very shortly, and I'm sure that we'll react to that. But it's becoming again a constant problem like it was over in the park. But anyway, council, we got to decide if that's something we want to do, and then Mr. Buchholz can work out the details with Mr. Sloan and whatever the city wants if we decide we want to move forward with this.
may I say one thing, please? I understand this will be all our responsibility, and we're taking a risk with vandalism and all that type of stuff. In our plan, we intend to put 4 cameras out there that'll show coverage outside the little facility as
Yeah.
well as inside. There'll be live coverage for us. Your police department can vouch that we've got really good camera systems and for monitoring, and so, and with our presence out there, we'll be checking on them on a regular basis.
Right.
We would probably be an asset to the problems that you have. We're not a cure-all by any means, but
Right,
the more people you have on your side out there, the more chances you have of controlling problems.
yeah,
And we'd be really concerned about problems for our own protection.
absolutely. So in the police car, for people that don't know, that pedestal that stands there with a computer on it is an MDT, a mobile data terminal. And our goal is to, when the computer installers finally do that, and we've been asking for a few months to get these cameras installed, the on-duty police officer will be able to look at the screen and see a variety of places in Parker on the mobile data terminal in his cruiser. So he'll be able to see, if he's across the street here, he'll be able to see Oak Shore Drive in the police car. And so maybe that's something that moving forward, if we do decide to do this, that we could tie into your system. And we've actually, the chief and I went to the sheriff's office not too long ago, and they have a system where they can wire it to transmit it to the sheriff's office. It's called Bayrock. Amazing, amazing.
I know ours is capable. I don't know what equipment it takes, but I know we're capable of tying together.
Okay. So council, it's up to us.
Well, I think it's a good idea, and like I say, I talk to people down there practically every day, and mentioned that I didn't know about the Coke machines and that kind of stuff, but the bait thing was a big thing that they said, yeah, they would like to have someplace they could get the bait. So I'm all for it, and I'll continue going down. I go down there at different hours. In fact, Thursday night I was down there after dark, and there was one guy out there on the fishing pier. Then I didn't talk to him, but it lights it up, and you're able to see people out there. Of course, they've got lights underneath too that brings in the small fish, and hopefully it brings in the big fish that eat the small fish. And so I think it's a good idea.
I have a question. How is he going to be able to get power to his place without a lease or development order or something?
Well, we'll get to that, Mr. Sloan. As I said to the lady in the back of the room, when you pull into the park, there's a sign that says this is Parker City Pier. That's the power supply. He'll be able to get power from. They'll be able to trench it in, and then meter the building. Yep.
I like the idea as well, but I sure would rather like to hear Mr. Sloan dig a little deeper into this and make sure this is something that we're capable of doing.
Okay.
I mean, it does sound like a fantastic idea, but I'd just be worried about the liabilities of it.
Yeah. Any other comments?
I will say this also, and there's no time frame to me, it doesn't matter. But the time frame to get this done will probably be not less than 8 weeks. The building takes 6 to 8 weeks. Machines order them in, take 6 to 8 weeks. That already puts us into probably the end of June, you know, so we're on if we want this to happen while we're getting the big rush for the summer,
Right.
It needs to be, you know, expedited as best it can. And if not, but it has no impact on me one way or the other.
Right.
Mr. Sloan, and what you've seen so far, do you think there could be a problem? Or, I mean...
No, I mean, there were two issues, one of which the mayor identified as now being addressed by the state, and that was that the original lease had a requirement in it that the state approve any document for a sublease or any agreement on the property. The other issue would be the issue of whether to establish a uniform rate for that, just as we did for the parking, Tony, because the lease talks about uniform rates, and then the question would become, how would you all address another potential vendor wanting to come and set up in that location? Because I don't know how much room you have to do that.
Well, his building pretty much covers the bait, the drinks, and the chips. I mean,
Yeah, but somebody else might
want
want to put something there.
well, we are the council and we decide that whether
Right.
we do or not, so.
But those were the two main issues.
You may
obvious.
add too, that if there's anything that needs, that you'd like for us to add, we've got room in the facility to add something else. And, you know, we'd be glad to try to participate, you know, whatever the needs are.
Yeah, an ice machine would be nice to have.
It's not, we looked into it. It's $100,000.
The problem would be managing it, because it would have to be on a
It would melt so fast, you wouldn't be able
Well,
to keep up.
Well,
you
it
can
puts
overcome
it
that,
out.
but it would either have to be manned or an honor system, because
Right.
there's no dispenser that's gonna dispense that kind of volume of
Right,
ice. that-
you'd have to have an ice machine like
Yeah.
you see on the parkway where you pay it, and then it pushes it into your ice chest. That's all you could
those-
get.
Yeah, those large, those are.
It's $100,000.
100 plus, yeah.
Another vendor will come.
Oh, what?
Another vendor, an ice machine vendor.
Yeah?
I know we had one when I worked at PCMI, we put one on our property, Panama City Marine Institute, and it was very lucrative for us and got us through, years ago, in some difficult times. And so basically, our executive directors wrote a contract to let them put it on our property next to the pier, and then we collected an amount of money. So that may be something that Parker could generate some revenue from.
Yeah. Yeah.
I believe we looked into it before we bought the pier. I believe those things can be very lucrative. They're very expensive, and the thing that kept us from putting one in was the fact that they don't service them. When you take one on, you've got to learn to service
it yourself.
and do that, and you can find people to do that. But I will also say that if the city would like an ice machine like that and go to the extent of that type of machine, that we would be willing to sponsor that. But, you know, I don't know, I mean, they're not very pretty, and it's a beautiful park. But if you decide you didn't wanna do it, we'd sponsor that, cause I think it would support itself.
Well, my concern is what he is about being 8 weeks.
Long
We're
time.
already April, and that would be the middle of June, just from today on. And Mr. Sloan, what other problems do you think you would see if we went ahead and did this tonight?
Myself,
What future problems that were you thinking could happen?
that's why I was directing it to the man that knows the laws.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you're gonna need an agreement, and the agreement would have provisions in it about, you know, maintenance and how he's gonna do things down there and hours and indemnification of the city for whatever he's doing and that sort of thing. So there will be an agreement. So maybe what I might suggest, Mayor, would be a conceptual approval of moving forward, and then when we get the agreement, bring it back to the council and let them see the final agreement.
Would that satisfy you?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm confident enough in the city of Parker and myself that we would come to that, and if that was, I would go ahead and be willing to propose, you know, to give the orders to get this stuff going, because I don't have personally any concerns about being able to work out an equitable situation.
Well, I'll make a motion that we go ahead and allow him to do it.
Conceptual agreement, or you wanna vote for him, go ahead and do it?
Go ahead and then, knowing that we're gonna let him do it, but go ahead and get him
With the
on our
agreement.
next
Draw the
meeting.
I'll second that.
And have the, agreement ready to go ahead and sign, but he does know that we're willing to do it, that way it gives him.
Yeah,
That's
that's
right.
the main thing, it gets it going, if we wanna have it done before the.
Quicker would be
And then
better.
that's what people doing what they say they'll do, there's not a lot of
Yeah.
people that do what they say they're gonna do.
Right. Madam Clerk, we have a first and a second. When you call a roll?
Miss Barrett,
Yes.
Miss Barrow,
Yes.
Mr. Chappell,
Yes.
Mr. Haney,
Yes.
Mayor Kelly.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Buchholz.
Thank you.
Okay, we got one
Getting this
last,
going.
go ahead. We have one last item on the agenda, and that is it's a little bit confusion if you read it, but it's reference to sub-area 2 of the CRA conceptual discussion of the land use for the city council to talk about. This is, I think, reference the piece of property before you cross the Tyndall Bridge, is that correct?
Well, it's a bigger discussion than that, Mayor, and if I could have just a minute, I'll kind of outline a couple of things. Number one, as you recall, the council approved a moratorium on off-premise signs.
Yes.
And the planning commission will be working on that in the upcoming meetings.
Okay.
But it's gonna need some direction from the city council as to off-premise signs. As you know, currently, off-premise signs cannot be any closer than 1,500 feet apart.
Right.
There are limitations on the size.
Yes.
They have to be 10 feet above the grade and
Right.
can't be more than 50 feet high. And again, that's really the gateway coming into the city from Tyndall Air Force Base. So as you think about sub-area 2, which is that gateway, number one, I'm hopeful that the council can give direction to the planning commission on off-premise signs. And number two, the land use issue is also out there, not just on an individual parcel, but on all the parcels up and down the parkway there, to try to come up with a vision of what you all are really looking for. As you know, the LDR essentially defines it as development of a combination of public and private investments into low to high-rise mixed-use buildings with retail, restaurant, personal service, office, and residential uses. So as you are thinking about and planning for the future of Parker, particularly in that parkway, I'm looking for, and I'm sure that the Planning Commission is looking for, your vision of where you are looking to take the city on that parkway, both on off-premise signs and as well as land use. The off-premise signs, there is some authority out there that will allow, because of the visual appearance of off-premise signs, to limit them by even further distance if you so choose to do that, or potentially even restrict them to just the signage that's there, and to phase out perhaps signage over time. Signage would also be an issue throughout the sub-areas 1, 2, and 3, but primarily I'm focused on right now coming out of Tyndall and going to Tyndall, that gateway that you're going to have. And then again, looking at the land use. So you've got the unknown component at this point of when and how the bridge is going to come across, a new bridge, and you've got to be thinking about that, and where you want to take the land use for that entire parkway, because I envision you're going to have a number of people that are probably going to come in and request a land use change, and so you all need to be thinking about that as you move forward.
Well, I got to tell you, I looked in here for what I thought we were going to discuss tonight, and it's not in there. I thought we were going to talk about the guy that sells tin sheds down there on the parkway. Madam Clerk?
His application is not before you tonight, because he has not paid all of the current fees to the city.
No one bothered to take time to tell me. Okay. I appreciate that.
So I'm just asking if the council would have a discussion or be thinking about where you want to go on that parkway with off-premise signs, as well as land use, how you want to see that structured in there, so that you can give the Planning Commission some guidance that they can work through and bring back a fairly decent product for y'all to consider.
Okay.
I personally wouldn't like to see any more billboards, signs along that corridor.
Can we put our 2 cents in on that one? Or that's between y'all?
No, you can.
Yeah.
And I also would like to, is there some way to charge a franchise fees on those signs that are already existing there? Can you implement that?
They're already in existence, so, as you adopt provisions in the LDR, if they were to be damaged more than 50% and they had to come into current compliance, then they might have to deal with different provisions than are in there right now. but I'll take input from all of you over time, but I wanted you all to be thinking about, because the moratorium has been in effect for at least a month now, if not longer, and it's a 180-day moratorium, so you all need to be really giving some thought to that, so that you give the planning commission enough time to be able to really come up with a decent product to bring back to you all, as well as give thought to, maybe you're happy with the land use. We don't have it up here right now, but.
So what happened to the guy with the tin sheds for sale?
What happened to him?
Yeah, what happened? They were supposed to be on the agenda, Madam Clerk.
He hasn't paid the amount, so he's not on the agenda.
Correct.
Did you know this?
Well, I spoke with Mr. Sloan
Yeah,
after the last
that's why
meeting.
he's not on
This
the
is what
agenda.
he
Well, when the
directed
meeting's
me
over, I'll
to-
sit and talk with both of you, okay?
Okay.
Certainly, Mayor.
We certainly will. Does anybody have anything they'd like to talk about? Madam?
I think he wanted to
Who's
say
first, I'm second.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I'm second.
Okay, go ahead.
I just
Rick
wanted,
Man's first.
I just wanted to say that I'm against off-premises signs in that area.
Okay.
I think they're tacky, they're not real appealing, and it's probably not what we're gonna be really looking for.
Right.
And I think there should be a size limit on any sign, even if a McDonald's or Wendy's or what have you comes in, there should be a size limit. It shouldn't be way up in the air. It should be, if you go to some of these, even Destin, I think, has that one. There's a certain size limit on the signs, and they're not all bright and lit up. And
Right.
just sticking out, you follow what I'm saying. This
Right.
is my opinion.
And none of those signs on that corridor have anything to do with the city of Parker.
Absolutely.
There's no
Absolutely
advertising
not.
for anything in the city.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Kathleen O'Brien, 1455 Parkway Drive. I ran into Bo Creel over in Port St. Joe at a Lions Club luncheon. I think it might have been 2 months ago. It was right after we had our moratorium put in place. And he said over in Port St. Joe they gave them 5 years and then they weren't allowed after that. So it's
Wow.
kind of like what they did to the Golden Nugget Gentlemen's Club, but a little different.
That's interesting.
So they gave them 5 years, and after that,
They had to take him down.
they couldn't exist anymore. So that's my suggestion.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Well, we'll have to figure out a time when we can have a sit-down conversation about this. You guys want to pick a time? It's August 17th would be good for me.
No, it's not. I am booked that day. Just so everybody knows, I am getting married August 17th.
You mean you wouldn't miss that to come to a Parker meeting?
Nope, I am not missing
Oh,
my own
come
wedding.
on.
I have been waiting 4 years for this.
Mr. Chappell, do you have anything to conversate about?
Yeah, I got a couple things. One thing is that we're trying to come up with a tailgate sale on the first Saturday of the month from May to October. It's going to be the first Saturday of every month. It's going to be over here at the ballpark. Tentatively, because there are some things that's going on with the ballpark and we might not be able to do it every month. I'm also trying to get a farmer's market over there along with the tailgate sale. So this 1st of May, if anybody's got stuff that they want to sell or so, it'll be marked off over there, and you can put a table out there and kind of like a little flea market type of thing. We're going to try it, see if it works. The other thing is we have the 5th Tuesday of the month coming up this month. We would appreciate if you could come up with some ideas of what you want to do with the city as far as like Memorial Day is coming up. We're a little ways from that, but I reached out and got a brick man to put about a 32-inch or 35-inch wall, a brick wall around the flagpole. He hadn't got back with me to give me the cost yet, but the idea of it is if you have a relative or so that has been in the war and you want honoring, we've got plaques that we can paste onto the bricks once it's done, and we'll know more about it once we get the bricks up and get the thing done. But I would like to see people come up with ideas for the city of Parker, and we'll see if we can't follow through and get them done.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Haney?
I don't have anything.
Nothing? Ms. Barrow?
I would like, for us, when we make a meeting, to do it so that we can discuss the CRA
Yes.
and the amount of money that we have, so we can have all that information, and the council can talk about it, and what we would like to see, done with any of that money and where, if we could have a workshop for that.
Okay.
Something.
Yeah.
Oh no, I said my piece.
Okay.
Mayor, I do have one other thing. I want to thank the
You've
people.
had 3.
I know it. I want to thank all you all that come out for the Easter egg hunt. We had a lot of volunteers come out and hide eggs, and I was really surprised that kids evidently found every egg we put out there, and there was about 2,500 eggs out there.
Did you have something, ma'am?
Well, I just wanted to ask about the potential for a farmer's market.
Yes, he's working on that right now.
1st of May is really soon.
Yes, ma'am. But the lady I called has not returned my call to her, so until I get a hold of her to find out what the deal is.
You still got that goat from last week?
Yeah.
You can take that out there and sell it.
Yeah.
But I'll participate in a farmer's market.
Lawnmower?
But I need to know ahead of time, like a week ahead of time,
Sure.
to get my shit.
Get the stuff together. Yeah.
Sell your honey.
We won't buy any of that though.
Is that honey covered?
I think, too, a food truck thing out there, and
Food
bring the
trucks are
food
great.
trucks in,
They are.
like, find it maybe in the fall when
Yeah.
it's cooler.
Yeah. They had 2 at the Easter egg, and it was really good. And if we could have more, that would be great.
Yeah.
That would be great. All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you taking the time to come out. So, on this item right here, I don't know nothing about it. The one that came up last, I thought that we were going to be talking about the man with the shed.
So you said to me, Mr. Sloan will come to you and explain to you, let me turn it.
I don't know nothing about this.